Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris says there is enough time to implement electoral reform, including adjustments to the electoral boundaries, in time for the general elections constitutionally due in 2020. Speaking at his monthly press conference last week, Dr. Harris suggested that these reforms are routine in other countries.
This is a process that we have been through time and time again, and so I believe that the rules are clear. We had prolonged delays with respect to that because last time the government clearly was in a mood to manipulate the process, just as it was in a mood to delay the motion of no confidence. But we will have a transparent process with respect to that, drawing on the cumulative knowledge that have been garnered over time of dealing with these things. And you must ask yourself, we are not the only country existing in isolation. Jamaica, Antigua, all of them go through these things.
The Prime Minister disclosed that the Boundaries Commission would be activated and efforts would be made to vet the voters list.
So we are optimistic that once the process is started, the process will be completed in a timely manner.
Adjusting electoral boundaries has been a contentious issue, especially in the last elections in 2015. The then government had quickly rushed the ratifications of the Boundaries Report for elections to be held on new boundaries, dissolved Parliament, and moved to elections. However, a series of legal challenges saw the matter reaching the Privy Council that ruled that elections are to be held on the old boundaries, after which the process should recommence to realign the boundaries. The then opposition made allegations of gerrymandering on the part of the government. The government argued that the boundaries were unbalanced and illegal and should be adjusted. The Prime Minister assured that all the reform work will be completed in a timely manner. Dr. Harris said the Privy Council case would be a guide to ensure the process would be above board. However, if an election were to be called now, it will be held on the boundaries the last elections were held. He also disclosed that there was a 2-year period when the Boundaries Commission cannot commence new work. That period expired in 2017. This is why, the Prime Minister explained, the issue is only coming to the fore at this time.
Legislation, as I understood it, says that you had to have period of think about 2 years wait. So having had that one about 15, we could have done nothing with respect to new boundaries until 2017, when the second year would have happened. So that is in part why earlier on this matter really didn't surface, because you had, as it were, the 2-year period before a boundaries report could come in vogue.
Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. The opposition St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party is slamming the government for the proposed changes to the Elections Act that will compel nationals abroad to reside in the Federation for 6 months before they can register to vote in the next general elections. Chairperson of the Labour Party, Marcella Liburd, in an interview with SK Newsline, said even before the first reading of the Amendment Act in Parliament, there should have been widespread consultation by the government.
To just come and do a first reading of an amendment to the Elections Act without any consultation with anybody at all must be offensive and certainly not good for democracy. And the second thing is the deception, really, in the sense that we had an election in 2015. I believe that the people now in government would have made more trips overseas to our nationals all over the globe to encourage people to come to vote. Having done that, and having brought in the people, they're now saying, okay, thank you very much, don't come back.
The Elections Amendment Act, as it relates to the residency requirements for overseas-based nationals, had its first reading last month in the House of Assembly, sparking debate in the diaspora and locally. Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris said recently that there will be consultation with everyone before any changes are made.
Some people think it is the best thing in the reform process, and some people would want to prefer that perhaps the 6 months is too long. So it is a mixed bag, but the principle is what we want to get right. And I think in this case, based on our own experience and based on the best practices we have seen here, that the requirement for residency is a good one. I was in England, met with a diverse group of people. Not one question, not one was asked in relation to this matter. I was in New York, I spoke to many people, and there are people like Lennox who said to me, it's a long time the government should have done this. Why are we having at election time to bring, as it were, this uncertainty into the mix? So it will, as in most things, you will have those for and those against.
However, MP Liburd said the proposed changes were the norm before the then PAM-NRP coalition made changes to the Act in the 1980s.
That when the People's Action Movement and the Nevis Reformation Party, PAM-NRP coalition, came to power in 1980, they met a system that Bradshaw had where persons had to live in the constituency for 6 months in order to register in that constituency. Sounds familiar? That's what they met in 1980. Not only that, we didn't have registration officers at the time. You had to go before the magistrate. It was the magistrates who you had to go before in order to register when you go in. They came into power, they met that. They changed the entire thing, took out the total time requirement. So you didn't have to live in the constitution for any time at all, not even a day, after they changed the legislation and removed that. So now the very people, because the People's Action Movement is part of this coalition, have come back now to say, we're going back to what we had in 1980, that they met in 1980 because it's such a great thing.
The opposition MP said the amendment's efforts by the government is pure politics and is not in the interest of improving electoral reform. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. A policeman, Sergeant Dwight Davis, was shot and killed in Deer Bay on Wednesday night. Up to news time Thursday, a full report on the circumstances surrounding his death were not released by police, but they did confirm the incident. Prime Minister and Minister of National Security Dr. Timothy Harris, at the start of Thursday's National Assembly meeting, conveyed condolences to the Davis family and friends and the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, which Sergeant Davis served since 1998 until his passing. Dr. Harris said he met with the members of the High Command and the family of Sergeant Davis prior to coming to Parliament.
And I also, before arriving here, met with the senior officers of the police force who are actively engaged with the matter as we speak. Our sincere condolences would also go out to the community of St. Paul's, from which Dwight hailed, as well as to the leadership, the rank and file members of our security forces, and in particular, the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force.
Dr. Harris reiterated the commitment of the authorities in solving this crime and to arrest the country's crime wave.
I want to use the occasion to reaffirm my government's commitment to fully supporting all of our brave and dedicated security forces as they endeavor to defend the safety and security of our great country.
The death of Sergeant Davis comes mere days after two bodies were found last week, one in West Farm and the other in Otley's Level. The most recent report coming from police on the autopsy performed on the body found on Otley's Level is that the cause of death is inconclusive due to the advanced state of decomposition of the body. Speaker of the House of Assembly, Michael Perkins, also conveyed condolences to the family of Sergeant Dwight Davis, and the House observed a moment of silence.
It was only upon arrival to office this morning that I learnt of the tragic demise of Sergeant Davis. And I was also reminded that he served us here as a sergeant at arms in the past. And so I too would like to offer my own condolences to the family of Sergeant Dwight Davis. And I think it's only appropriate at this time that we all rise and in a moment of silence in honor of the late Sergeant Davis.
Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. Labor Day 2018 in St. Kitts was just like previous years, this year with a heightened sense of opposition to the Team Unity government. The St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party supporters came out in their numbers with fanfare as they marched through the streets of Bastille to music and pronouncement over hi-fi and loudspeakers by leaders and representatives of the Labour Party about what they deem poor governance of the country by the government. For party leader Dr. Denzel Douglas, the turnout is a sign that the end of the Team Unity government is nigh.
This is a very large march. In fact, it is so large that I can feel and sense and the victory that is going to come. The people are fed up of this government. And what this march is in fact doing is celebrating that the fall of the government is soon to come.
Other supporters also gave their reasons for marching and why they believe the government should change.
We're here today on Labor Day, having a wonderful Labor Day march. We have so much issues in our country. As you can see, my placard say, the cop before was responsible for the crime in Nevis, in Nevis, sorry. I'm asking a simple question today. Who are responsible for the crime in the Federation today, 2018? Where's the curfew? Our officer is down. Where's the Prime Minister? Overseas on a holiday. While the people are suffering. Crime is out of control. Rape is out of control. I don't even know what to say. We need help. Timothy, we need help. Come home.
So when they put this school in the water, why you drink every day? Now you're drinking total water.
The marchers ended the day at the Patsy Alice playing field for a fun day and to hear speeches from Labour Party leaders and stalwarts. Labor Day is traditionally Workers' Day, where workers' rights are celebrated. But in St. Kitts, the Labour Party has captured the day as their own to celebrate the party's achievements on behalf of the workforce. Andre Huey, SKN News 9.
On the road to good health, you must visit Nature's Discount Nutrition Center on 4th Street. Nature's Discount is your first stop for all natural supplements to maintain the health of the entire family. Natural alternative medicines to heal your ailments. Natural weight management supplies to ensure you look good. Nature's Discount Nutrition Center also carries all of your sports nutrition supplies, cleansing and digestion products, natural health and beauty products, oils, organic and gluten-free foods, energy and endurance, and sexual well-being supplements. Nature's Discount Nutrition Center on 4th Street is open 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Monday through Fridays and evenings 6:30 to 8:30 on Saturdays. Nature's Discount Nutrition Center, your get healthy, feel wealthy people.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like your boat when you're at sea and you get away from everything. Your home and the security of your daughter's things. And the car that you've had for too long, but after all these years, you just can't let go. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
The Cable, we provide much more than just the fastest and most reliable internet service. We fill the homes of all our customers with joy and laughter. Our services connect friends and keep families together. With the most extensive fiber optic network, we ensure that you can enjoy the things you love with the people you love. Whether it's catching up with family or old friends, or simply just enjoying your favorite TV shows, people choose the Cable because quality shows.
St. Kitts football fans, the Final Four playoff is here and Voice of the Caribbean Radio will be bringing you the action live. That's right, Voice of the Caribbean Radio will be broadcasting the Final Four playoffs of the SKNFA National Bank Premier League from June 2nd to the 23rd. Get live football commentary with our first-class commentary team, sideline interviews, reports and top-class coverage of the 4 teams in the Final Four. Who will clinch the title? Will it be back-to-back champions Keon FC? Will the team from rural St. Kitts, St. Paul's walk away with it all? Can Village keep the engine rolling to take the top award? Or will the boys from Connery have a say in the title race? Follow the action on Voice of the Caribbean Radio at www.voiceofthecaribbean.net or download our Android mobile app search Voice of the Caribbean Radio in the Google Play Store or log on to sknfa.com and listen to us right there on the Football Association's website. It's live action of the SKNFA National Bank Premier League playoffs at the Warner Park Football Stadium, St. Kitts on Voice of the Caribbean Radio, June 2nd to the 23rd. Coverage starts at 5:30 p.m. with our pre-game show. Voice of the Caribbean Radio, reaching the Caribbean and beyond. Now you can have SKN Newsline on the go. Introducing SKN Newsline Android mobile app. Search SKN Newsline in the Google Play Store. Download the app free and stay up to date with TV news in St. Kitts and Nevis in the palm of your hands. With this app, you can watch our news reports, watch our live news feed on SKN Newsline TV, engage with us and other app users in the chat room, look at our special features, send us news tips, and call us directly. It's news on the go. The SKN Newsline Android mobile app. Download it free today.
For the best in dental care, visit Dental Beginnings on Victoria Road, Bastair. We offer professional dental care in a variety of services: cleanings, extractions, fillings, oral examination, root canal treatment, crown and bridge, and sealants. We're open from Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call us at 465-1951 or 668-1955. Or email us at dentalbeginnings@gmail.com. A gentle dentist in a comfortable and friendly environment. Dental Beginnings. It all begins with a smile.
How does it feel when you got that feeling? You got the flavor you love. How does it feel when you know you're not dreaming? There is nothing above. So good when you're feeling nice. So good it tastes just right. So good the place to be. So good it's KFC.
How you feel when things come together? How you feel when everything nice? How you feel when you're up on your ends with your friends? Everybody holding a vibe now. How you feel when things come together? How you feel when everything nice? How you feel when you savor the flavor, the feeling you get when you taste everybody?
So good when you get that meal. So good is the way you feel. So good at the time of day. So good is what you say. So good when you dance all night. So good it tastes just right. So good the place to be. So good it's KFC.
While the Labour Party celebrated Labour Day in its usual fashion, the People's Action Movement was a bit more low-keyed with its activities at the party headquarters in Bastair. PAM Deputy Leader Eugene Hamilton said the Labour Party has corrupted the meaning of Labour Day.
The original Labour Day is supposed to be a workers' day. But as you realize, the Labour Party has corrupted the Labour Day and make it into something for the Labour Party itself rather than for workers. The People's Action Movement has traditionally on the same day referred to it as May Day. And having referred to it as May Day, we tend to bring people here, workers, everyone for that matter, to get engaged in more family and social engagement on the day, rather than to express ourselves as marching around town. It is true that traditionally, for maybe decades, the Labour Day movement has been known to, Labour Day persons have been known to move around and march, but quite frankly, for us, we have not necessarily engaged in that on Labour Day.
The PAM Deputy Leader spoke about what the Team Unity government, of which the PAM is a coalition member, has done for workers in the Federation.
You could begin, first of all, with what happened with the sugar workers. In the first instance, we made sure that the sugar workers were compensated for the period where they were not compensated under the previous administration. And then, of course, we could talk about those persons who have been getting opportunity to get their skills upgraded using the STEP program. Whereas in the past, it was originally a PEP program that just put people to work, some of whom never worked at all. This program is more geared towards giving people a skill, training people so that they can fit into the world of work by the time they get off of the program. And those are just two of the things, but generally, we have sought to provide for workers the opportunity to get benefits from the work that the government is doing.
He also gave an idea of the Palm Labor Day activities on Monday.
Everybody come for breakfast, families come and have breakfast together. They play games, we have dominoes, we have different kind of games. Then you have persons come on, they stay for lunch. And then, you know, some people usually go and come back in the afternoon, music all the way into midnight. So there are various segments which is for the family. For example, this morning was good to have a family breakfast. And it's still time to have good family lunch. But we expect that in the afternoon to evening that you will not have entire families here.
Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. Just hours after passing the Freedom of Information Bill 2018, the Data Protection Bill 2018 was also passed on Friday, May 4th, to promote the protection of personal data processed by public and private bodies. Attorney General Vincent Byron noted that there are many challenges faced in the technological world, hence the importance of implementing such a bill. He said that it is important to adopt and adapt to the technological evolution, while at the same time maintaining the best principles that pertain to good governance and the rule of law.
Madam Deputy Speaker, this type of legislation speaks volumes for our credibility, both nationally and internationally, and should go far in enhancing the ease of doing business within the Federation. Thirdly, Madam Deputy Speaker, the Data Protection Bill complements the objectives of the other related laws, such as the Electronic Transactions Bill, since A, it protects the individual's right to privacy, thus giving them greater confidence in the use of e-commerce and e-government.
But opposition MPs expressed reservations about the legislation. MP Marcella Liebert said the government cannot be trusted with information, as it has in the past released personal data of persons who worked for the government or done work on behalf of the government.
This is just for talk. No one in this country, hardly anyone in this country, has any trust in this government. Hardly anybody. So how would they have any trust that their data would be protected, Madam Deputy Speaker? We have heard in this Parliament, the member for number 7, and in particular, and others, speaking and calling names of persons who own National Bank, right in this Parliament. Done that. So tell me, how is it that we, or the country, could trust that their data would be protected? Let me know. Because it all seems a farce to me.
However, in defense of the bill, Senior Minister and Member of Parliament for Nevis 10, Vance Amory, chided MP Liebert.
The member for number 2 made certain comments about information being leaked, so she claims, alleges, from this government side about individuals and other similar statements. I therefore want to ask, Madam Deputy Speaker, if the Honourable Member for number 2 accepts what she said to be fact, why then is she, or did she indicate that the effort of the government to bring a bill of this magnitude, of this import, to this Parliament, to govern and to change what she says is an aberration on the part of members on this government side and other persons? Why then was there such an aggravated objection?
The Attorney General said the bill seeks to protect individuals by collecting their personal information and to follow certain policies and practices for sharing such information. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. Parliament on Thursday, May 3, passed into law the Freedom of Information Bill 2018. The act is to promote maximum disclosure of information in the public interest, to guarantee the right of everyone to access to information, to provide for effective mechanisms to secure that right, and for related matters. Mover of the bill and Attorney General Vincent Byron gave the basis of what the legislation entails.
Every public body is under an obligation to train its officials on the right to information and the effective implementation of the bill. We would expect reports by an information officer to the Commissioner on the activities of the public body pursuant to the bill are provided for in Clause 22. And additionally, by virtue of Part 4, the bill recognizes a number of exceptions in accordance with international best practice, health and safety, law enforcement, defense, and policy formulation.
The passage of the bill was not without reservations. Opposition MP Conrys Maynard questioned the legitimacy of passing the bill at this time, even though the government had promised the passage of this bill as soon as it took office in 2015.
There's no rational reason why it has taken the government so long to bring this up for debate.
Give time to read and understand it and achieve. That's what it is.
There is no rationale. And within this first term, there will be nobody in St. Kitts and Nevis who will have freedom of access to this information.
Member for Nevis 11, NRP parliamentarian Patrice Nisbet asked some pertinent questions related to the bill.
Persons out there will have to note that information can be denied if the harm to the protected interest outweighs the public interest. My general view is that the public has an interest in the promotion of transparency.
However, Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris slammed the opposition for their contribution, arguing that they are not serious about transparency and good governance.
And it comes today pretending hypocrisy, pretending that this government was doing something wrong because we took so long. He had 20 years and he did not do it. We, in 3 years, are succeeding where he has failed.
Attorney General Vincent Byron reiterated that passing the bill allows for a government to have a sense of openness, to be transparent, and to allow people to understand what the government does and that it is doing it properly. Minister Byron noted that it is his hope that persons who viewed or listened to the debate got a clearer understanding of what it is supposed to do, while at the same time reiterating its purpose. The Freedom of Information Bill had its first reading on September 15, 2015. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris is dismissing a report from the Daily Mail newspaper which seems to suggest he was involved in a corruption case now in the UK courts. The case in question involves a UK-based business tycoon accused of bribing Caribbean politicians. Property tycoon Peter Singh Verdi has been accused of bribing high-ranking Caribbean politicians after secretly taped telephone calls emerged in a High Court judgment issued last week. Both men deny any wrongdoing. Mr. Verdi and business associate Dieter Trussler were taped making reference to the topic of payments or gifts to government officials. On one transcript of the phone conversation, reference was made to the Antiguan energy minister asking for money. The judgment also records that Mr. Verdi told Mr. Trussler that the Prime Minister of St. Kitts was visiting and he was, quote, taking him and his entourage for dinner this evening, so be ready for a big bill, end quote. A statement from the Prime Minister's office on Sunday said, quote, "Given the seriousness of the innuendo in the article that officials from St. Kitts and Nevis had any involvement in this matter, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris states emphatically and unequivocally that since Team Unity was elected, the integrity of the office of the Prime Minister has at all times been maintained to the highest standards to which citizens and residents of the Federation are entitled to and must hold their government." The judgment references a period of time beginning in 2014. Prime Minister Harris cannot speak to what may have occurred prior to his assumption of office of the Prime Minister on February 18, 2015. Prime Minister Harris confirms that the Team Unity government has not entered into any agreements with the parties referenced in the article. Prime Minister Harris and Team Unity are committed to upholding the rule of law and protecting the reputation of the Federation at the local, regional, and international levels. Protecting and serving the interests of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis is the foundation of how Team Unity governs this nation. The Prime Minister has consulted with senior legal counsel in an effort to determine the next steps." End quote. The court in the UK emphasized in the meantime that nothing in the judgment was a final adjudication of the precise meaning of the transcripts. The full story can be found on the Daily Mail website at www.dailymail.co.uk under the heading "Tory donor embroiled in £43 million fraud allegations is now accused of bribing high-ranking Caribbean politicians." Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. The opposition St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party is calling for the resignation of Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris for an alleged corruption allegation case involving a UK tycoon, Peter Singh Verdi, who has been accused of attempting to bribe Caribbean politicians.
Transcripts produced in a high court in London in connection with a bribery investigation against billionaire businessman Peter Verdi and his business partner appear to disclose reasonable grounds to believe that bribes and expensive gifts were given to Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Timothy Harris.
The Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis has already refuted any suggestion that his government was involved in any form of corruption surrounding the case, and claimed the incident in question occurred before he became Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. Another release from the government published on Times Caribbean Monday suggested that the government would be investigating the matter, alleging that the case involved opposition leader Dr. Denzil Douglas, who was Prime Minister in 2014. But Dr. Douglas, during a Labour Party press conference called on Monday, said the court transcripts indicated that the conversation took place in 2016.
Transcripts produced in the court were of at least 6 intercepted phone calls between Peter Verdi and his business partner, made between February of 2016 and November of 2016. These conversations began about exactly 12 months, a mere 12 months after Harris became Prime Minister of our country, St. Kitts and Nevis.
Dr. Douglas said he believes there is more to be uncovered in this matter.
What the world already knows, it is my belief that there is much more to uncover. What we know already about this matter has disqualified Dr. Timothy Harris from holding the position of Prime Minister. Yet there is more to come. We have seen only the tip of the iceberg, we are told. Even more of the truth will be revealed as the criminal trial proceeds in London. Lord Justice Holroyd of the High Court in London, in his judgment on Friday, indicated that the National Crime Agency in the United Kingdom alleges that the intercepted conversations lawfully obtained by the police implicated Mr. Peter Verdi and his partner in conspiring, and I quote here, in conspiring to bribe corrupt officials, indicated that they had discussed bribes demanded by and paid to the Prime Minister of St. Kitts, and included a recording of a conversation between the claimant, that is, Mr. Verdi and his partner, and the Antiguan minister negotiating the amount of money due to the minister personally for introducing Mr. Verdi to officials of St. Lucia and, of course, of St. Kitts and Nevis. End of quote.
The conversation between Mr. Verdi and his business partner were taped and acquired by the German police as part of a tax fraud investigation of Mr. Verdi. The Prime Minister has said that he has sought legal counsel on the matter. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. 3 persons are in police custody assisting with the investigation into the death of Sergeant Dwight Davis. 2 persons were held for questioning on Saturday, along with another person arrested on Friday. The team assigned to the investigation have been working assiduously to solve the case, according to a police statement. In a statement previously issued by the Commissioner of Police, Ian Quealy, he said that the Royals and Christopher and Nevis Police Force would use all the resources available to find the perpetrators of this crime. As police investigations into the crime continue, a reward of 50,000 EC dollars is being offered to anyone who can provide information leading to the arrest and successful prosecution of the person or persons responsible for the death of Sergeant Davis. Anyone who may have information that can move this investigation forward is asked to call the police station or the Violent Crimes Unit at 467-1887, 467-1888, or 662-3468. The body of the 37-year-old senior police officer was found on a dirt road in the vicinity of the railway line in Dieppe Bay by 2 passers-by. He will be laid to rest on Thursday, May 17 at the St. Paul's Recreation Grounds, interment at the Anglican Church Cemetery. Funeral service begins at 2:30 p.m. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
The Cable, we provide much more than just the fastest and most reliable internet service. We fill the homes of all our customers with joy and laughter. Our services connect friends and keep families together. With the most extensive fiber optic network, we ensure that you can enjoy the things you love with the people you love. Whether it's catching up with family or old friends, or simply just enjoying your favorite TV shows, people choose the Cable because quality shows.
For SKN Newsline, I'm Gabrielle Thompson, live at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort, the venue for the 3rd annual Caribbean Investment Summit. The summit opened Thursday with an official ceremony featuring representatives from all 5 islands in the Caribbean who feature a citizenship by investment program. The summit is being held under the theme, Unity in the Age of Division. Head of the St. Kitts Nevis Citizenship Investment Unit, Les Khan, called for unity within the Caribbean. The main thrust of Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Brown's presentation, was to encourage Caribbean countries with Caribbean investment programs to strongly defend their programs against outside influences.
And I want to make a point here too, that CIP cannot continue to be a battleground political issue in the Caribbean. We are literally undermining our own progress and development and giving fodder to our detractors when we, or for that matter, when those who are seeking political power fabricate stories and peddle them as factual. Because what is happening in this region at this time is that those who are reporting to the capitals do not take the time out to determine what is fact from what is fiction. As soon as they get any form of misinformation, they send it to the capital, and then it becomes factual and becomes the basis of some form of sanction or some form of information to undermine us.
Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Timothy Harris, said the government is working hard to restore trust in the Federation's CBI program. He says the former administration, the Labour Party, damaged the program. The Prime Minister also expounded on the country's passport rankings.
In 2016, Nomad Passport Index ranked our passport number 1 in the OECS, number 2 in CARICOM, and number 50 in the world. This is very good for the smallest democracy in the world. In 2018, Henley and Partners ranked our passport number 26 in the world. In November 2017, our CBI program was adjudged the world's most innovative investment immigration program at the Russian Global Citizens Awards ceremony.
The Caribbean Investment Summit will continue to May 18 and is being held on the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis for the first time since its conception 3 years ago. The St. Kitts and Nevis Citizenship by Investment Program is the oldest of its kind across the globe. The 34-year-old program was established in 1984. For SKN Newsline, I'm Gabrielle Thompson.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like knowing you're covered when your house gets flooded, getting your settlements quickly and fairly when a fire hits your home, and making sure your business can keep going even after an accident happens on site. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
Opposition MP Marcella Liber became the first female deputy leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party after she was elected to the post on the weekend. Labour Party rising star Dr. Terence Drew was elected party chairman. Party leader Dr. Denzel Douglas spoke about the changes to the party executive at the party conference on Sunday held at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort.
You would have noticed in your booklet for the conference that there were two persons to contend the deputy leadership of our great party. You would have heard that the Honorable Marcella Liber has in fact emerged as our new deputy leader of our great party. The other person who was there in the booklet was the Honorable Conwys Maynard. I want to thank Conwys for being so magnanimous, who in the spirit of loyalty to this great party and visionary leader of the future was able to say, we don't want to leave this conference as a divided people. We want to leave as a united people.
Dr. Douglas also unveiled some of the new candidates that will contest the next general elections for the Labour Party. These include Dr. Jeffrey Hanley in constituency number 1 to replace outgoing Deputy Leader Dr. Asim Martin, Kenny Douglas to contest constituency number 5, and Leon Natta to contest constituency number 7. A candidate for constituency number 4 was still not yet announced. Dr. Douglas used the opportunity at the conference to champion the Labour Party's accomplishments and to mount a challenge to the Team Unity government of Prime Minister Timothy Harris. He was continuing in the same vein of his party's press conference earlier in the week, where he called for Dr. Harris to resign amidst bribery allegations.
Never before has the national interest been so ill-served. 3 years in, and look at what our country has come to. Team Unity under the leadership of Harris is proving time and time again that they do not have what it takes to effectively and successfully administer the affairs of this great country.
Guest speaker at the party conference was Mike Brown, Minister of Education of Antigua and Barbuda and a Member of Parliament with the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. Mr. Brown urged party supporters to tell the story of the accomplishments of the Labour Party in order to win the next general elections.
You have a story to tell. You have the story to tell of the history of comradeship within these shores. You have to tell how the Labour Party built this country. You have to tell how the Labour Party put institutions in place so that other persons not doing very much, masquerading, garbing themselves in nepotism, appointing everybody that the blood flows through their veins, as if kingship means competence. Bragging not on things that they would have built, but riding in a next man's car that a next man buy for his family. You know why? Because you did not tell your story.
The Labour Party conference was held under the theme Labour, Stronger, Safer, Better for You. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.